father passes away, leaves you a carefully planned inheritance, and you use it responsibly. But then, your younger sister comes to you, demanding $15,000, not for survival, not for emergencies, but for a luxury wedding. What do you do if you've ever been pressured by family? If you've ever had someone try to guilt you into giving away what you've earned, then this story will feel painfully familiar. Hit that like button, subscribe, and settle in, because today's tale is about boundaries, entitlement, and the sweetest form of quiet revenge. When my father passed away 3 years ago, he left behind more than just memories. He left behind a final act of love, his estate, carefully divided between my sister and me. She, the younger sibling, got the family home, paid off, mortgage-free, a place she already lived in while caring for Dad during his final years. I, on the other hand, received a lump sum of about $50,000. Dad knew I had long since moved out, that I was renting, working, and building a life of my own. It wasn't favoritism. It wasn't unfair. It was balanced. She got security in the form of a house. I got freedom in the form of cash. But as anyone with siblings knows, balance isn't always how it feels. My sister has always had, let's call it a flair for the dramatic. Money burns holes in her pockets. Expensive trips. Luxury handbags. Car upgrades every few years. Each one shinier, flashier, more impractical than the last. Meanwhile, I treated my inheritance like a lifeline. I paid off student loans that had been suffocating me for years. I built an emergency fund so I could finally breathe, and I started saving for a down payment on my first home. For once in my life, I felt stable, secure, in control, but stability makes you a target when the people around you are spiraling. Last year, my sister got engaged. At first, I was happy for her, truly, until I heard about the wedding plans. A $60,000 blowout, 300 guests, a custom dress that cost more than my car, an open bar, live band, the whole Cinderella meets Kardashians fantasy. Her fiancé seemed swept up in it too, nodding along as if this was all perfectly reasonable. But soon reality set in. They were short on cash. And where you think her eyes turned? That's right, straight to me. She came over one evening, smile painted across her face, voice sweet as honey. Hey, sis, you know how Dad gave you that money? Well, I was wondering if you could help me out. Just a loan. $15,000. I'll pay you back in a year, I promise. $15,000. For flowers, food, and a one-night party. I could feel my chest tighten, anger simmering under my ribs. My hands curled into fists in my lap. Every instinct told me to shout, to remind her the free house she already had, the stability she never earned but inherited. Instead, I took a breath and said, "No." The smile disappeared instantly. Her eyes narrowed. Her voice cracked into shrill disbelief. Dad would want me to have the wedding of my dreams. You've already used the money to better your life, and I haven't gotten anything out of mine yet. You're selfish. I sat there, stunned at the audacity. My father didn't leave me that money for luxury. He left it so I could build a future. And here was my sister, twisting his memory into a weapon of guilt. The worst part? My mother backed her up. Family helps family, she said. Weddings are once in a lifetime. You should share. Share? I thought. Or sacrifice. Because that's what this was. Sacrifice of my security for her vanity. When I stood my ground, she lost it. Tears shouting accusations. And soon enough, she was spreading the story to extended family. Suddenly, I was a villain. The greedy sister. The one ruining her big day. Friends told me I was right to say no. My fiancé reminded me that weddings fade, but financial stability doesn't. Still, the guilt gnawed at me. Every phone call from Mom, every snide comment from cousins, it chipped away at my resolve. Until one night, lying awake, I asked myself, who benefits when I cave? Certainly not me. Certainly not Dad's legacy. And definitely not my. That's when I realized saying no was a revenge. It wasn't loud. It wasn't dramatic. It wasn't public. But it was powerful. Every time she threw a tantrum, Every time she complained to relatives, every time she told the world I was hoarding money, all it did was reveal her entitlement. And me? I stayed calm, professional, silent, because sometimes silence screams louder than words. Weeks passed, months. I continued with my life, paid another chunk off my loans, added more to my savings, took quiet pride in every step toward my future. Meanwhile, the wedding plans began to crumble. Her budget stretched thin. Vendors demanded deposits she couldn't afford. Relatives she recruited into her pity campaign began whispering about how reckless she'd been. I didn't have to ruin her wedding. She did all by herself. And when the big day finally came, it wasn't the fairy tale she had imagined. Corners were cut. Guests were trimmed. The luxury became manageable. And every person who looked at the scaled-down spectacle knew exactly why. Her anger, her tantrums, her campaign to guilt me. It all backfired. Because in the end, I kept my money, I kept my boundaries, and I kept my dignity. She, on the other hand, was left exposed for what she truly was. Reckless, entitled, and jealous of the responsibility I had shown when she couldn't. And the sweetest part? She had to stand there, in a wedding smaller than she boasted about, knowing the one person she tried to shame, the one person she called selfish, was the reason it wasn't grander. Here's the lesson. Real love doesn't demand $15,000. Real family doesn't twist guilt into obligation. And sometimes, the best revenge isn't dramatic at all. It's just refusing to be used. If this story gave you chills, smash that like button and tell me in the comments, what's the most entitled thing a family member has ever asked of you? And of course, subscribe for more true Reddit revenge stories, where karma always finds its way.